Okay. Assalamualaikum and a very good evening. We bid to Madam Ruzi Almisa as our lecturer for TSLB3152 Digital Innovation in Education. So for our project presentation for the task 2, we have innovated a process innovation actually. It is called, we are calling it as Podcast Pioneer. And today, this project will be presented by three of us. Me, Muhammad SHAFIQ bin MAZLAM. Second is Daniel HAKIM bin Muhammad NIZAM. And the third presenter is SITI ZULAIKHA binti ABDULLAH. Okay, moving on to the next. In this presentation, we will cover 5 aspects of the content from our project actually. The first one, we will delve through the process flow of it. The second, we are going in deep of how this process of innovation can actually be commercialized. The third one is what are the benefits that are primarily gained from this, that this project can contribute. And the fourth one is the impacts of this project. The last one is triological model that we have conceptualized, that we have used in this project. Okay, about our innovation, which is called Podcast Pioneer. Podcast Pioneer. It is an amazing podcast that explores the intricate world of English grammar. So here is the record is that our podcast have released 4 episodes in our channel. So after this, you can check them out in the Spotify itself by searching the name of our podcast. Okay, I think that would be all from me. Continuing with the next presenter. Thank you.
Hi, so next part will be the part where I give you the tutorial on how this innovation works. So the process flow starts with conduct a podcast, and then we're going to upload the podcast, and then we're going to assess the performance, and we will get the feedback from the user of our innovation. Just a reminder, our innovation is a process innovation where we guide you how to develop a product using the method that we suggest, and then how are you going to assess the performance of your of this process. Okay, now moving on to the next slide. So first of all, we will going to conduct a podcast. So we have prepared you a guideline on how are you going to do the podcast. So first of all, introduce the product. Here you will explain the purpose of the presentation, emphasize on how the podcast episode will be done, and provide the examples of success podcast episodes. So in currently we already have some episodes that you can take as an example. So from there, you will select a topic and then do a preparation and write the script for your students. So this innovation is for the students and also for the teachers themselves. So this conduct a podcast tutorial is very important for both of the party. Okay, next slide. After you have write your script, and then you can go to the record tactics, where emphasize the importance of the clear pronunciation and so on, and provide opportunities for the students to practice their delivery first and provide constructive feedback for them. And then recording equipment and software. Make sure that you have the equitable equipment and software that you can use to make sure the audio is clear, the process can be more efficient. And then editing and post production. Here, you will see the basic skills in editing. You need a basic skill in editing as a teacher, and then you will guide the students in editing their recording episodes, because this is also a part of their projects. So we need to ensure that the students also participate in these podcasts, conducting the podcast. So instruct them on how to remove mistakes and so on, and encourage the students to listen back to their recordings to improve their themselves. Okay, next step is peer feedback and review, and then classroom sharing. And the last one, the last process is reflection and self-assessment. Now, we will watch a video by a tutorial on how the podcast can be created by teachers, and the overall interface of the finalized product by our presenter Shafiq.
Hello teachers. So, the question now is how to create a podcast pioneer. So, you go through your own preferred browser. It's either Google or Firefox, or it can be Bing or anything. Find search in the search engine. You search podcasters.spotify.com. So the first thing that will be prompted on your screen is the login section. Here you can find either you can log in with Spotify or you can create your own account. So here you may also sign up a new account or log in with your existing account. So after that, you will be displayed with a segment of welcome to Spotify for podcasters. So here I will explain the steps of creating it. So the first thing is there'll be a section where you can make your first episode. Here, teachers, as we will be prompted with this after accessing that Spotify for podcaster website, and by a single tap it redirects to the next prompt. So here, when you have prepared all of your students, they are ready with their materials, you may record their voices right away through this section. And also, if the teacher wants to use the already recorded audios, they can hover their cursor to the library section, wherein they can use their audios that are priorly recorded. So after that, teachers can also guide the students in recording their friends or audience's messages and include them in this episode. So later in the finalized product, they can these messages will be appeared in that audio section. So to make it more engaging to the listeners, teachers can also add sound effects, which brings a new environment of it can be conducive or even more fun. So the next section, this section allows the students to upload audios that needed certain modification and recorded way earlier. So in this section, teachers or students can edit or they can modify their already recorded audios. So after that, we can see that it goes to the next section of setting the own podcast, as in here we are choosing the name of it. We will select or we will create a distinctive podcast description of what our podcast is about, and we can also categorize it in its own genre or its own category. Like here, it's language learning, and the podcast language is mainly in the English language. Okay, so here are the examples of how the audios will be organized and how we will see before uploading this audio, we will see how it is actually formed. Okay, here are these episode options, and we can also see whether the audio has been uploaded to our podcast or otherwise. We can also do for further measures, we can also monetize our podcast for commercialization, and also to um, publicize our podcast to a even more higher exposure, wider exposure. Okay, so here are the snapshots of podcast Pioneer on Spotify for podcasters. So through the Spotify app, you can go to your home screen. Okay, this would be your home screen that you would normally see whenever you open your Spotify. Okay, here. Okay, and in the search engine, you you will search this product, which is Podcast Pioneer, and it will right away show up in the top selection of the search here, and you may tap it right from here. This will be an interface that you will be seeing. Okay, so after that, once you have tapped the Podcast Pioneer podcast, you will be prompted with this interface, of which there is a description of the podcast shown, and also all the episodes that have been recorded and to be listened by the audiences here. Okay, just scroll with just by scrolling your liked episode, you will be seeing this interface of how do you want it to hear it, whether you want it fast forwarded, or you can adjust the volume here, and you can also adjust the speed here. Okay, and that wraps up this tutorial of how you can create your own podcast by showing this example of our product. I think that would be all from us. Thank you.
Thank you, Shafiq, for the presentation. Now we move on to the next slide, which is on the assessment, assessing the uh, performance. So there are two kind of performance assessment tools here, which is the teachers assessment tools and peers assessment tools. I believe that everyone is accustomed to Google Form and Google Docs. So here in this part, the teachers assessment tools already in Google Form. So the teachers can access these Google Form through the links that we have given in the Instagram that we have provided. So the teacher assessment tools is based on several types of assessment form, which is on pronunciation, grammar accuracy, vocabulary usage, fluency, and accuracy. So the teacher can choose whether what kind of assessment that he or she want to assess his student. So when you click the pronunciation, or for example, you click the pronunciation part, so the Google form will directly go to the part where you can assess the student based on their pronunciation alone. It will not interfere with other kind of form. So if you choose grammar accuracy, you will skip the pronunciation and directly go to grammar accuracy. That's part for teachers assessment tools. For assessment tools, it is a direct form where the student will need to put their peers and the class. So from there, they can put their friends from the Likert scale of 1 until 4, poor and excellent. Which one are they at? So based on their rating, they have to comment whether why they choose to give the rating their friend, that kind of rating to their friends. For example, here we can see in the form there is a group participation, task fulfillment, and learning experience. So based on these two assessment, the students can know what are their levels at in terms of vocabulary, for example, in terms of the speaking skills. So this form will be given to the students, so to the pupils, so they can see what they need to improve and how can they improve themselves, because there are comment section and justification section where the students and teachers, the peers and teachers can give comment to improve their friends or their students' performance. So next part is the feedback. So from here we can see the feedback have been given by our tester of our project. So here is the data we can see on the project focus, on the how the projects the second question, this project allows students to make the choice about the product they create, how they work, and expand their project based on learning experience. So here we can see that the project is based on the students, how they can participate in this project and how they can learn from it contextually. So next part, here also some data from the feedbacks. Next part, this part we can see that we also provide a suggestion part to improve our product. Here are some suggestion by the tester where they will have they would be interested if it would be great if you add tagline or trademarks and so on, interactive activities, and put some kind of more engaging stuff in these projects. So from there we can improve our our product here as a process where we can it's a process project where it can be flexible and can be improved time to time without need a long period to be improved. So I think that's all. Next, we be on commercialization. So this is the interface. We can see the promotion or the commercialize, how we commercialize our podcast. So this podcast already have its own Instagram platform where we already put some posts and we already make some stories based on to promote our product here, innovation process. So the podcast is there. The link of the podcast is there under the bios. You can see in the pictures the links for the assessment tools, the podcast, and also the feedback forms is already there. Coming soon, it will be on this presentation. We will upload this tutorial on the YouTube channel. So the link also will be there, so the teachers who going to use our product can assess and also can see how the product works and how can they use this product. Okay, it's also the WhatsApp link and Instagram stories. Next. So I think Siti will proceed with the presentation.
Okay, I'll explain from here. So this is the benefits for our project, the benefits that we've got from the feedback. And we divided the benefits into two categories, which are for the learners and also for the teachers, since our podcast work for both sides. So for learners, our podcast is said to allow learners to interact while actively enjoying a positive environment when learning. This is because podcasting allow a staging process before the student proceed uh, to record the flow of their talk. So this gives a safe environment for them to practice more on their speaking skills. And then it also promotes learners' autonomous learning. This is because the students will the students will practice on their own and explore the speaking skills. First before they learn more in depth on how to do it correctly. So it gives more exploration. Basically, it's a practice approach. And then for teachers, it is able to manage and conduct CLT effectively through the use of digital pedagogies. So for this one, this is because CLT or communicative learning teaching. Okay, for CLT, it's actually about how the teachers teach the students to communicate. So we integrate the use of digital, and as well, since Spotify fit all the box that we need to create to use an app. So that's why we create Podcast Pioneer, and then it increased the effectiveness of materials used in speaking skills activity. Next. Okay, next is the impact. Uh, the impact from our innovation project, also divided into two, which are the learners and the teachers. So for the learners part, the one of our plus point for our innovation project is student empowerment, where our innovation project promotes student-centered learning, particularly in communicative competency, which included several speaking skills such as pronunciation, grammar, and fluency. Just like I told you before, this is because the students will learn on their own, and this is basically a self practice approach. And then for the learners, our podcast is quite flexible because it can be varied into different level of difficulties. So it means that it can fit on the level of the students, and it can align with any education level such as classroom-based assessment, CBA, and also align with CEFR, since we are going to talk about context in their syllabus. And then last but not least, for learners, it increased confidence, which means it removes anxiety, especially to speak in English. We are going to provide safe environment for the students to practice their speaking skills by giving them chances to stage the flow of the talk, and then explore more on how to use the language correctly. Okay, impact for teachers. The first one that I think is also a plus point for our innovation project is it is sustainable. So since our podcast is made through the with the support of apps Spotify, it can be accessed and managed via mobile phone. And also the apps is free. So I think it doesn't have any problem related to cost. And then we can save time, space, and mental effort in preparation of learning. We also to able to preserve digitalized materials in long period of time. And another impact for the teachers is our innovative product, our innovation propose an authentic content where we incorporate real life experience to meaningful learning. For example, we ask the students to do a podcast about how they understand the grammar. This can help the students to enhance their speaking skills while at the same time show the content that they have learned that day. And then variety of topic to be used to enhance speaking skill, increase the value of meaningful experience. This is same like before. Next. Next is for triological learning model, in close relation to the triological learning model. The use of podcast in language education creates a dynamic and interactive educational experience. So the experience and interactive educational experience are be divided into three main points, which are collaboration, use of digital resources, and dialogue interaction. For collaboration, the learners can collaborate by discussing podcast content, sharing new vocabulary they have learned, and helping each other understand context and usage. Group listening and discussion sessions can enhance vocabulary retention and comprehension. So basically, this is about the collaboration between the students in the group. and how they explore the content of their podcast episodes. And then the use of digital resources, digital podcast platforms. Podcasts are digital resources that serve as a foundation for vocabulary learning. Learners use these resources to access authentic spoken language, exposing them to new words, idiomatic expressions, and pronunciation, which means that we have variety of resources to be referred to. And then dialogue interaction. For dialogue interaction, engaging in dialogues about podcast content, especially when discussing new vocabulary, words, or phrases, encourages active learning through meaningful conversation. The learners can ask questions, seek clarification, and explore different interpretation of vocabulary in context. This is in relation also to our first point, which is collaboration. And then through the dialogue interactions, the students will have a more active learning, which means that just like the previous slide, this is an practice a practice approach, which let the students to explore their skills on their own. Okay, next. Okay, we have come to our conclusion. So for our project, the Podcast Pioneers project, employing Spotify as a platform for English language learning, has emerged as an innovative and impactful tool for language acquisition. Leveraging the diverse array of podcasts available on Spotify, the project has provided learners with a rich tapestry of content uh, to improve their English proficiency. And then the convenience and accessibility of Spotify have empowered users to select content aligned with their interests and proficiency level, fostering a personalized learning experience. So we hope from this project we can improve more uh, to help teachers, both teachers and learners, to improve their learning experience, and hopefully we will have more chances to explore on how we can develop more on this project, innovation project. So I think that's all from our group. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.